Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to meeting number 455 for this December the 1st, 2015. First of all, we'll get into the adoption of the minutes of meeting number 454. Any errors or omissions? I'll look for a motion to accept. Moved by Councillor Coady-Davis, seconded by Councillor Morris. All in favor? Contra mind? Motion carried. Business arising from the minutes. Any business arising? Hearing none. Disbursement report. Councillor Pinsent.
I'd like to move the disbursement report of $1,420,623.73 be adopted.
Disbursement report is moved by Councillor Pinsent. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Finn. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Contra mind? Motion carried. Back to the agenda here, if I can find it on this. Committee reports, Economic Development and Tourism. Councillor Coady-Davis.
Thank you. The Economic Development and Tourism Committee met on Monday, November 16th at 4:30. In attendance, myself as chair, Acting Mayor Barry Manuel, Councillor Finn, Councillor Pinsent, and Councillor Moores. Staff included Mike Pinsent, Town Manager Clerk, Barry Griffin, Director of Finance and HR, Gary Hennessy, Economic Development Officer, and Stanley Singh, the Business Development Officer. Also in attendance from 5 p.m. to 5:40, Dwayne Sutherland and Judy Dobson. The Canada Job Grant, Mr. Sutherland of the Exploits Hospitality and Retail Association and Ms. Dobson of the College of the North Atlantic spoke to the committee on a pilot project that would train and employ individuals who have been out of the workforce for an extended period of time and are interested in working in the private sector. They asked the town to be the proponent for an application to the Canada Job Grant administered by the Department of Advanced Education and Skills. The committee discussed their participation in this project and recommended that the town be the proponent of this project. The Business Development Officer will work with this group as the project moves forward. The Excite Minutes. The Business Development Officer presented the July 2nd, 2015 Excite Minutes for review by the committee. Councillor Coady-Davis moved to accept the minutes, seconded by Councillor Moores, and the minutes were accepted as read. The A&D Company Limited minutes. The Economic Development Officer presented the October 29th, 2015 A&D Company Limited minutes for review by the committee. Councillor Coady-Davis moved to accept the minutes, seconded by Councillor Moores, and the minutes were accepted as read. The Midwinter Beaver update. The Economic Development Officer gave a report on the status of this event. The new website was launched on November 13th, and so far, early bird ticket sales are going very well. Ads have been taken out in several winter publications for December, and the committee is meeting again this week to continue to work on plans for the February 19th to the 20th event. Heritage Walking Tour booklet. The Economic Development Officer circulated a copy of this booklet produced several years ago by the Heritage Society. It highlights several heritage buildings and sites in the community. The Economic Development Officer has been speaking with the Heritage Society about reproducing this booklet with updates and even QR codes. The committee recommended that the Economic Development Officer assist the Heritage Society in preparing their application for funding for this project and offer any technical assistance once it's approved. Budget reviews. The Business Development Officer and Economic Development Officer presented final budget items for their 2016 department budgets. The committee reviewed and discussed some of the items presented and recommended that this information be forwarded to the Finance and Administration Committee for final review. The meeting adjourned at 6:50 p.m. and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
It's been moved by Councillor Coady-Davis. Looking for a seconder. Councillor Moores. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Contrary mind? Motion carried. Moving right along. Parks, Recreation, Special Events. Councillor Coady-Davis.
Thank you again, Mayor. The Parks, Recreation, and Special Events Committee met on Wednesday, November 18th at 4:30. In attendance, Mayor Barry Manuel as the chair, Councilor Amy Coady-Davis, Councilor Tom Pinsent, and Councilor Darren Finn. Staff, Barry Griffin, Director of Finance and HR, Todd Mercer, Leisure Services Programmer, Keith Antle, Parks and Recreation Foreman, and Dave Nichols, Director of Parks and Recreation. Staff recognition. The committee discussed a request to recognize Mr. Roger Lane, who was a Parks and Recreation employee who recently passed away. The committee recommends that a plaque recognizing Roger Lane be erected on High Street. Centennial Field Plan. The committee reviewed 2 proposed Centennial Field plans as presented by the Parks and Recreation Foreman. It was noted that work has commenced on the new storage building, and the overall plan must be developed as soon as possible. Washroom change table. The committee discussed a request from a resident to have a washroom change table installed at the Joe Byrne Memorial Stadium. The committee directed the Parks and Recreation Foreman to obtain a cost estimate and location options to erect washroom change tables at the various town facilities and report back at the next committee meeting. The committee has received a request from the Grand Falls-Windsor Minor Soccer Association to attend and make a presentation at a future committee meeting. The committee recommends that the Minor Soccer Association representatives be invited to the next committee meeting. The 2016 draft Parks and Recreation Department budget. The committee discussed the 2016 draft Parks and Rec budget in detail. The committee also reviewed the 2015 aims and objectives and discussed the 2016 aims and objectives in detail. The committee recommends that the presented draft budget be forwarded to the Finance and Administration Committee for the 2016 budget deliberations. The meeting adjourned at 8:20 p.m. and I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilor Coady-Davis. Any questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor? Did I get a seconder? Maybe not. Councilor Pinsent will second. All those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Public Works and Planning, Councilor Finn.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The Public Works and Planning Committee met on Tuesday, November 17th at 4:30 p.m. Present were myself as chairman, Deputy Mayor Barry Manuel, Councilor Amy Coady-Davis, Councilor Tom Pinsent. Among staff present, Town Manager Mike Pinsent, Director of Engineering Works Jeff Saunders, Director of Finance Barry Griffin, Assistant Director of Engineering Nelson Chapman. Engineering Works 2016 budget. The committee reviewed the 2016 budget documents in detail. This will be forwarded to Finance for inclusion in the overall budget and further discussion. Correspondence, Ms. Arnold. The committee discussed correspondence from a parent concerned about no sidewalks from Maple Street to the walkway to Woodland Primary. This is a 2-lane access road, and there is no allowance for pedestrians. The committee recognizes the concern as there is very limited planning for vehicular or pedestrian traffic in this area. This is a school board property, and these issues are their responsibilities. The committee recommends that staff pass these concerns to the school board and ask to have them addressed. Correspondence, Mr. and Mrs. Moore on Moore Street. The committee discussed correspondence from Mr. and Mrs. Moore concerning a tree on their property at 1 Moore Street. The committee recommends staff get a quote to have the tree removed. A name change for Tulip Drive and Park Street. In 2013, the committee approved the renaming of a section of Park Street to Tulip Drive. Notices were sent to the businesses affected, informing them this change would be coming when the arterial road was completed. The road is now complete, and the committee recommends that new notices be sent to the businesses stating that effective June 1st, 2016, Tulip Drive will officially be named from Main Street to Hardy Avenue. This will provide sufficient time to use existing stationery and obtain new stationery when with updated information. Correspondence, Mr. Marsh, Central Newfoundland Waste Management fees. The committee reviewed correspondence from Mr. Marsh concerning the tipping fees charged by Central Newfoundland Waste Management for a house demolished on Riverview Road. The town has no control over what is delivered to Central Newfoundland Waste Management or fees charged, and recommends that Mr. Marsh work with Central Newfoundland Waste Management to resolve this issue. 3 permit renewals. Mr. Newhook, the committee discussed a renewal of 3 quarry permits in the Ovneys Road area for Mr. Newhook. These are to support his cranberry farm in the area. The committee recommends these be approved. Land requests, the medical center on Pinsent Drive. The committee discussed a request for additional land at the rear of the medical center on Pinsent Drive. The committee recommends this be approved and sold as per policy. Land on Bank Road development. Staff has received several requests in recent years concerning availability of land on Bank Road for development. The committee recommends that staff review this area to determine land available, whether Bank Road should be connected to Gilbert Street, and available services, and report back to the committee for further discussion. Correspondence, Ms. Tubbert. The committee discussed a request from Ms. Tubbert to purchase land in front of her property on 6 8th Avenue. This was obtained by the town in a tax sale several years ago. The committee recommends this be sold for $4,500 plus HST, legal, and survey fees. This amount recovers the costs incurred in the tax sale. The meeting adjourned at 8:30 p.m. Mr. Deputy Mayor, I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Finn. Seconder? Second by Councillor Coady-Davis. Any discussion? Just a point of note there, the correspondence was from Ms. Tubbert, Ms. Trimlett. We refer to as Tubbert with regards to 8th Avenue. Trimlett, correct? Yeah, just a point of note. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Moving right along. Finance and Administration.
As the results of a tender for upgrades to the Excite building. Deputy Mayor, I move that the tender results for the Excite building upgrades be awarded to Bluebird Investments Limited in the amount of $106,898 as the low bidder. That's HST included.
Okay.
Need a seconder.
It's been moved by Councillor Finn and seconded by Councillor Moores. The tender summary as presented and awarded to Bluebird Investments. Any discussion? Councillor Finn.
I will add, Deputy Mayor, that there were 6 bidders. They include Bluebird Investments, LSG Construction, R&D Construction, Tech Construction, Trey Town Builders, and Budgels Equipment. And the bid ranged from $106,898,000, which was the low bidder, to $244,080.
Thank you, Councillor Finn. So we have a motion from Councillor Finn, seconded by Councillor Moores. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion carried. Finance and Administration, Councillor Pinsent.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I'm not sure what to call you nowadays, the day after the election. The Finance Administration meeting was held on Monday, November 23rd at 5 p.m. In attendance was myself as chair, Mayor Barry Manuel, acting, Councillor Darren Finn, Councillor Bruce Moores, and Councillor Amy Coady-Davis, staff, Barry Griffin, Director of Finance and HR, and Mike Pinsent, Town Manager. Also in attendance, Ed Evans and Alan Scott of Central Waste Management. Central Waste Management. The committee met with the representatives of Central Waste Management to discuss rates for 2016. The committee reviewed the year-to-date revenue, expenses, and budget for 2016. Also, discussion was held on the separation of commercial waste. It is noted that as of January 1st, new regulations will require commercial separation of recyclable products. Tax recovery plan. The committee reviewed the tax recovery plan as presented by the Director of Finance. This plan is required to be adopted as part of the provincial gas tax regulations. The committee recommends that this be adopted by resolution. 2015 capital borrowings. The committee reviewed the list of capital spending for 2015 and required borrowing. Total capital expenditures for 2015 were $8,354,124. The town's share of borrowing was $3,056,332. The committee recommends that we request government approval to borrow the required funds. Budget preparations. The committee reviewed a draft of the 2016 budget and recommends it be forwarded to the committee of the whole for further discussion and approval. The meeting was adjourned at 10:30 p.m. I move the recommendations and report of this committee.
Moved by Councilor Pinsent, seconded by Councilor Finn. Any discussion on the Finance and Administration minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Now we got some resolutions that require adoption. There's 4 in total, so I'll ask Councilor Pinsent if we would present those one at a time so we can deal with them.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution, whereas under Section 94 of the Municipalities Act of the Province of Newfoundland and Labrador, subject to the approval of the Minister, Council may borrow monies and issue securities for repayment of monies borrowed. Whereas it is deemed necessary to borrow the amount of $360,330 to finance municipal-funded capital projects. Therefore, be it resolved that subject to the approval of the Honourable Minister of Municipal Affairs, Council borrow this amount from a charter bank in Grand Falls-Windsor, and that this amount be repaid by general revenue at a variable rate over a 5-year period. Be it also resolved that the Mayor and Director of Finance be authorized to negotiate said loan and sign promissory notes and execute all documents pertaining to this resolution. Propose that resolution be adopted.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilor Pinsent, seconded by Councilor Finn. The resolution be adopted. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Councilor Pinsent.
Whereas under Section 94 of the Municipalities Act of the Province of Newfoundland and Labrador, subject to the approval of the Minister, Council may borrow monies and issue securities for repayment of monies borrowed. And whereas it is deemed necessary to borrow the amount of $425,520 to finance a vacuum truck. Therefore, be it resolved that subject to the approval of the Honourable Minister of Municipal Affairs, Council borrow this amount from a charter bank in Grand Falls-Windsor, and that this amount be repaid by general revenues at a fixed rate over a 10-year period. Be also resolved that the Mayor and Director of Finance be authorized to negotiate said loan and sign promissory notes and execute all documents pertaining to this resolution.
Okay, once again, it was moved by Councilor Pinsent and seconded by Councilor Finn. Any discussion? All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Councilor Pinsent, you're up again.
Popular person today. Whereas under Section 94 of the Municipalities Act of the Province of Newfoundland and Labrador, subject to the approval of the Minister, Council may borrow monies and issue securities for repayment of monies borrowed. And whereas it is deemed necessary to borrow the amount of $2,270,482 to finance multi-year capital projects. Therefore, be it resolved that subject to the approval of the Honourable Minister of Municipal Affairs, Council borrow this amount from a charter bank in Grand Falls-Windsor, and that this amount be repaid by general revenue at a fixed rate over a 15-year period. Be it also resolved that the Mayor and Director of Finance be authorized to negotiate said loan and to sign promissory notes and execute all documents pertaining to this resolution.
Okay, it's been moved by Councilor Pinsent, seconded by Councilor Finn. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. One last time, Councilor Pinsent.
Thank you. Tax recovery plan, Town of Grand Falls-Windsor. Whereas the province of Newfoundland and Labrador has announced a new community sustainable partnership to provide new sources of revenues and partial rebate of the provincial portion of the harmonized sales tax, along with the continuation of the municipal operating grants for the next 3 years at current funding levels for eligible municipalities. Whereas to be eligible for this funding, the province of Newfoundland and Labrador requires additional accountability measures be implemented, including the annual submission of a taxes receivable summary and tax recovery plan. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Grand Falls-Windsor adopt the tax recovery plan as attached for approval and submission to the province of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Pinsent. Looking for a seconder. Councillor Moores. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Next up on the agenda, notice of motion. Are there any notice of motion? Hearing none, we'll move into other business. Tonight, I guess we'll start with Councillor Finn. If you're ready.
Sure. Always ready. Just a couple of things, Deputy Mayor. One is, in the last meeting, I had discussed some issues going on with Central Newfoundland Waste Management in terms of rates that have increased and how that impacted businesses in the town of Grand Falls-Windsor. And we had put a call out through our meeting for feedback from businesses about the impacts of the new waste management rules on their businesses in terms of compliance and cost. We haven't gotten much feedback on it, but I know that does not reflect the reality of there. So I'll raise it again tonight. I encourage businesses to email the town, email council, email me. My email address is listed on the Town of Grand Falls-Windsor website, and outline your concerns to me in bullet form. That would be sufficient. And if I receive those emails, I will share them with the full body of council. So I just want to reiterate that tonight, that it's important that we hear from the business community. The next thing, Deputy Mayor, that I want to speak about was, first of all, is obviously our mayor has been newly elected last night, and I congratulate him on his victory and wish him luck, and I look forward to working with him on the many important initiatives that council has set out as important and priorities for our town. So I'm really looking forward to working with him. I know he knows all of our issues. He was a part of formulating those issues and discussing them with us over the past 2 years with this council and longer on many of those issues. So I look forward to those issues becoming provincial priorities and his work on those issues on our behalf. So definitely congratulations to the mayor. So having said all of that, Deputy Mayor, this leads us to a decision that we have not discussed in public to date, and that is filling the vacancy of mayor. And I wanted to, for the sake of informing the public, I wanted to talk about what the legislation says in terms of how a council is obligated to deal with a mayor's vacancy. So if you would indulge me, Deputy Mayor, I would like to read out this short section of the Municipalities Act because it's important, I think, for the public to know what the legislation says in terms of guiding our decisions, because there are some choices. And I would suggest to the public that we will deal with this question of how we deal with the mayor's vacancy in the very near future with our next meeting coming up before Christmas. But of course, all of that is to be discussed. From the Municipalities Act, Deputy Mayor, is a Section 19, which deals with the vacancy of a mayor, and I'll read it verbatim, which is Section 19.1. Where a vacancy occurs in the office of a mayor who was originally elected in a separate election, the town council shall fill that vacancy by A, having a deputy mayor assume the office of mayor for the remainder of the elected mayor's term, or B, having the deputy mayor assume the office of mayor until a by-election is held to fill that vacant position of mayor, or C, electing by secret ballot among the remaining members of council a person to assume the office of mayor for the remainder of the elected mayor's term. That was section 19.1, A, B, and C. Section 19.1, section 19, subsection 2. A councillor who wishes to run for election as a mayor in a by-election referred to in paragraph 1, section B, shall resign as a councillor before running for election as mayor. Subsection 3, where a vacancy occurs in the office of mayor who was originally elected by the town council, that vacancy shall be filled in accordance with section 1A or C. So section 3 don't apply because our mayor wasn't originally elected by council. So our choices are to be, for a council can appoint the deputy mayor to fill the role of mayor for the remainder of the elected term. The council can appoint the deputy mayor to fill the mayor's position until a by-election is held, so we can hold a by-election for the position of mayor. Or we can select by secret ballot among any of the members of council to assume the position of mayor. So there's three distinct choices there. So I just wanted to let the public know what the choices are. I mean, as outlined in legislation, we've pointed out many times there are many weaknesses in legislation with the absence of language. But in this case, there is language, and we have rules that guide us. So I wanted to explain that to the public, but I would also like to ask the public, because council will deliberate our choice over the next period, I believe we will, that if someone has a point of view on how council should handle such an issue, that they should share that with us over the next couple of weeks. Prior to our next committee of the whole meeting, I would suggest, which is in 2 weeks' time, and I guess a member of the general public can reach out to any one of us, and those emails, if it's by email or by passing or by telephone call, and I think whatever feedback we got, we would share that with each other through emails or discussion in our committee of the whole meeting in the coming weeks. So that's the process that we have to start to engaging in, and that's all I want to say on that tonight. It's pretty much it's a procedural thing at this point. Council has a decision to make, and we'll do that in the very near future because it's not something that I think that we can leave for any period of time. It has to be moved on swiftly. So that's all I had tonight, Deputy Mayor.
Thank
I
you.
don't know if anyone else got
Councillor
any comments about that.
Councillor Pinsent.
Thank you. Once again, I'd like to sort of reiterate what Councillor Finn said about congratulating our new representatives, our former mayor, I guess soon to be former mayor, Al Hawkins, and of course former mayor of Botwood, or I think he's going to be former after tonight, if I'm not sure. Jerry Dean, who also is who's a representative now for Exploits, which takes in part of our district. So congratulations to all of them. Those two gentlemen, and we look forward to working with those gentlemen because once again, as Councillor Finn said, there's a number of initiatives that we have on the docket that we'd like to see pushed forward. As the mill comes down, riverfront development comes in an increasingly important issue for us in economic development and tourism for the town. So we look forward to meeting with those two people and discuss that. Of course, our former mayor is familiar with that file, so we hope to get something. Of course, Grand Falls House, which we've always heard, and I've had a number of people saying, what are you doing with it, what are you doing with it? And I'm getting tired of saying, we're not sure, but we'll hopefully get some moving on that. Pass on, once again, congratulations to the 75th anniversary of the forming of St. Joseph's. I think they had their dinner there just recently, so congratulations to them. And once again, sort of put our residents' minds to rest. So things have been saying, I see it in the news media and I see it in letters that taxes have gone up. And I was really curious to see that, especially coming from some seasoned politicians that are saying their taxes have gone up. Well, taxes haven't gone up yet. The assessments went up. Taxes haven't risen yet. That's now, we're doing deliberations as we do our budget. And of course, we have the adjustment of the mill rate. So I just want to reassure the residents that, we're cognizant of that, some people out there are finding it hard and not see a tremendous tax rise. So we're cognizant of it. Your taxes haven't gone up yet. Let's just correct that. It's the assessments went up. And I'm amazed at how many seem like what I figured to be seasoned politicians and veterans that have been saying your taxes have gone up. Maybe it was just electoral rhetoric or whatever it was. But your taxes have not gone up. Your assessments have gone up, but we have a choice to look at the mill rate, which we will do, because we are all taxpayers and affected by the same thing as well, so we're not not on feeling about that. So that's all I have for this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Pinsent. Councillor Mercer.
Deputy Mayor. Just will continue with the tradition, given that it's December month. I too would like to congratulate our mayor or former mayor or whatever capacity he's in today on his election. And I'd also like to congratulate Mayor Dean of Botwood. We got two MHAs representing us now. Congratulations to both of the guys. And I'd also like to congratulate their opponents as well. Clayton Forsey represented the area for many years. He used to be thanked for his service to the community. In addition, Mark Whiffen and Rex Barnes, both of the guys put their names on the ballot, in addition to, I think, a couple of NDP candidates at the last moment. Their names just forgets me right now, but my apologies for that. But all these people put their names there for a reason, to make this place a better place. So congratulations to Al and Jerry and everyone else that put their names forward. So, as Councillor Finn said, the mayor is aware of our wish list, our priorities that we've presented to government and the leaders. So I too would like to work on that and continue in that motion. But maybe what we should do as a council is make it official. Send him the letter that he signed off on many times and say, here it is. Just a reminder that this is what we're looking for, and here's our wish list. And we'll also have to send that to Mr. Dean as well. So I'm looking forward to working on that as well. In addition to that, Deputy Mayor, just want to remind everyone that the National Salvation Army Kettle Drive is on the go this time of year. It's a nationwide thing. I think they've got 2,000 locations identified this year across Canada. And here in Grand Falls-Windsor, in recent years, we've been bucking the trend with donations, and we're staying on par with where we've been in previous years, whereas the rest of the country, their revenue has been depleting a little, and it's based on cash flow. And most people go today, they use debit, Visa, American Express, then as they're leaving the checkout, they got no cash or coin to drop a few cents in the kettle. But the Salvation Army across Canada and certain regions like Toronto, Montreal, they've installed debit and Visa systems at their kettles for quick access, right? Now, it's all costly, but it's all going to the same cause. So what Salvation Army has got put in place, if you feel bad when you walk by and you got no change or no cash to put in the kettle, don't feel bad. Because when you go home, you sit down to your computer, your old-fashioned desktop or your iPad, log on to the Salvation Army website, you can identify an area like Grand Falls-Windsor, and you can make a specific donation online using debit, Visa, or MasterCard, and they'll still take your money. So anyway, folks, keep that in mind. Salvation Army does great work this time of year in providing the necessities of life to those unfortunate people. Thank you very much.
Does Visa give up their 3%?
They're not that kind. They're not that kind.
I doubt it. Thank you, Councillor Mercer. Councillor Moores.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I also would like to add congratulations to Mayor Hopkins on his election, and I also like to congratulate the other three candidates. And It was a great campaign, and it was well fought, and again, congratulations to the winner, Mr. Mayor, our former mayor. And I got a note here, and it says, Santa is getting excited about the parade this Saturday morning here in Grand Falls-Windsor. If you would like Santa to say hello to your child at the parade, call his helper at 489-0407. Give Santa's helper your child's name and the location of where they'll be on the sidewalks during the parade on Saturday, and Santa, of course, will recognize them. So that number again is 489-0407. So don't forget to call in your child's name so that Santa can say hello to them. And that's it for me, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Moores must be a close friend of Santa, I guess. You got some connections with Santa?
Yes. I won't say how, but yes, I got some real good connections with Santa.
Just on that point as well, of course, the parade starts at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning, and it'll be starting, as always, lining up on Main Street. I think around 9:30 usually they line up, and the regular parade route will be followed. So hopefully we get nice weather on Saturday and see lots of people out for that. Councillor Coady-Davis.
Thank you. Just a couple items for me tonight. I will stay on the Santa Claus parade for a few minutes. The last couple of years, my father, Jim Coady, and I have done commentary for the parade, so if you are unable to get out to the parade, if you're not feeling well or whatever, it will air on our local Rogers station, and you'll have the pleasure of seeing myself and Dad, and most people want to see Dad because he's been out of the limelight for a while, and he's been very recognizable throughout the years through his radio career, so people like to see him back and behind a microphone again, so you'll get to do that. They will air the parade, I'm not sure what days, but it will be a few times up to Christmas, so make sure you tune into Rogers Channel 9 for that. Congratulations, of course, obviously to MHAs, who will soon become MHAs once they're sworn in, Alan Hawkins and Jerry Dean, both of Grand Falls-Windsor and Botwood respectively. Great campaigns from all those who participated. Great to see a lot of women elected last evening and a whole lot of women candidates, which was great to see. So I look forward to seeing more women candidates from municipal right up to federal politics in the future. The community light up for Christmas for the town will take place on this Thursday, December the 3rd. It'll start at 6:30 at the fire hall. There will be a visit from Santa Claus and loot bags for the children. Just remind people who are attending that there will be no parking in the fire hall parking lot in case of an emergency. The fire trucks will need quick access to the building and to exit, so no parking in the fire hall parking lot. There will be sufficient parking at the other businesses up and down Bailey Street, which will be closed for the evening at that point. And I also wanted to mention that we have a new contest on our town Facebook page, and I would encourage people who, if you haven't liked the Facebook page already, it's Town of Grand Falls-Windsor, and it's a holiday countdown contest. Every day there will be a new challenge posted, and we're looking for comments. You're allowed to submit one comment per household, and just on different holiday traditions. If you just, for example, today the challenge was, what is your favorite holiday tradition? So you had to go on the Facebook page and comment, what's your favorite holiday tradition? And at the end of each day, we'll make a draw. We have some town brand items, bags, toques, mugs. We have chocolates in those bags. We have tickets to Cataracts games. There are going to be tickets to the Fresh Start Theaters play, the best Christmas pageant ever, all kinds of nice little goodies. So I would encourage people to visit our Facebook page, not just for the contest, but we do use that page to get a lot of important messages out to our residents about different things that's happening in Grand Falls-Windsor. So make sure you like our page, and you'll get the added benefit of being able to participate in those contests as well. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Coady-Davis. Just a few things for me to clue up the evening, I guess. I'll chime in as well and congratulate the new Liberal government and all the winners locally, of course, Al Hawkins and Jerry Dean representing Grand Falls-Windsor, and Buckens, Badger, and Olive Exploits for Jerry's case. And congratulations to all the candidates all across the province for putting their name forward. We certainly look forward to, as a council, as a couple of councillors have already mentioned here tonight, of working with the new government to achieve some of the things we've been working on so diligently for quite a while now, and we look forward to building a strong relationship with the new government. Just want to mention that December the 4th, which I believe is Friday, is National Impaired Driving Initiative, and our local RCMP detachment will be taking part in that. And obviously, going into the holiday season now, we tend to have more occasion to get out and enjoy ourselves and do a little bit of partying, so I'd encourage everybody to make sure that you do not drink and drive, and our RCMP will be taking part in that particular initiative on this Friday, but of course they'll be out on occasion throughout the holiday season. Few congratulations I want to throw out. Last weekend I had the opportunity, the weekend before last actually, to go out to the Excite Centre and take part in terms of a customer in the Excite Centre Canvas Craft Fair. And I must say, I mean, again, just so impressed with the amount of goods on display out there, and a lot of the stuff that's homemade, you know, from jellies and jams to quilts and mitts, and of course the artwork that was on display from a number of different local artists. Just fantastic to see, and I'd like to congratulate them on what seemed to be a well-attended and a very good craft fair. A couple weeks ago I also got to take part in an anti-bullying event which took place at the Y2C Youth Center. Mr. Fantastic, the wrestler, was in town to help a number of our participating groups in town go out and encourage the young people, particularly, the importance of anti-bullying. And it is a huge issue with our youth today. It's always been around, but it seems these days bullying is a bigger issue, especially when it comes to the world of communications and social media and that sort of thing. So it's important to get that message out there, and congratulate the Youth Center and the participating groups in that. I guess it was Remembrance Day night, following a couple days after our last meeting, when some of us, I think, attended the Remembrance Day dinner at the Legion. And during the dinner, Mr. Les White was awarded the Palm Leaf for his years of dedication to the Legion, and it's one of the highest, and I understand one of the most elusive awards that can be given someone. And you guys may have, and the general public may have seen, I think there was a piece in the Advertiser on Les White's and his award, and really just to hear him speak in that, and the emotion for those that were there, was definitely the highlight of the night to see him, and certainly well deserved. So I want to pass along congrats to him. And a couple more congratulations. We got a lot of people in town that deserve it, obviously. A couple of friends of mine were recently awarded in their respective fields, and in one case it was a baseball field. It was Davy Janes. Davy, who is well known in the community for his contributions to baseball and the sporting community in general, was awarded by Baseball Canada as Newfoundland and Labrador Volunteer of the Year. Every province has a Volunteer of the Year, and Davy Janes was the Newfoundland and Labrador recipient this year, so congratulations to Davy. And moving on to another sport, Mike Brown, who's the longtime executive director at the local golf course, and Mike received the Employee of the Year award for the Newfoundland Labrador Golf Association, so I'd like to pass along congrats to Mike as well. And the last thing I'll mention tonight, it is the season. We talked about the holiday spirit, I guess, a little bit tonight, the Christmas parade and the Christmas tree lighting, but also it's a time, of course, 12 months of the year the food bank relies on our support, but this year especially, not only the food bank, I'd encourage everybody to get out and support that, make donations when you can. But, you know, we do live in a society and in a community these days where there are less fortunate, very close by. So I'd encourage everybody to get into the giving spirit, and if you have the means, don't be afraid to do some giving this holiday season to those that need it, and it would be a great gesture and certainly lend itself to the spirit of Christmas that's coming upon us. So I don't have anything else. If anybody else has anything, speak now or forever hold your peace. I'll ask then for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councilor Mercer, seconded by Councilor Pinsent. All those in favor? Count your mind. Motion carried.